The morning sun cast long shadows across the red Martian landscape as Zara Washington gathered her school materials. At 12 years old, she was already showing great promise in science, just like her parents. Zara placed her notebook and sample collection kit into her backpack with care. Today was special. Her science teacher, Mrs. Reeves, had assigned the class to observe the unique crystal formations that grew only in Section 7 of the colony. "Got everything you need, honey?" asked her mother, Dr. Diana Washington, looking up from her tablet where she reviewed crop yield data. "Yes, Mom. My permission slip is in the front pocket if any guards ask questions," Zara replied, her dark eyes bright with excitement. Dr. Washington smiled at her daughter's thoroughness. "That's my girl. Those crystals are amazing. They might be the key to our new water filtration system." Zara's father, Dr. Marcus Washington, entered the kitchen area of their modest colony home. "Just remember to stay on the marked paths. Those formations are delicate and we're still studying how they grow." "I know, Dad. Mrs. Reeves went over all the rules yesterday." Zara hugged both her parents before heading out the door. New Horizon. Colony was the third largest settlement on Mars, home to nearly 10,000 people. The dome-covered community was divided into sections: residential, agricultural, scientific, commercial, and several restricted research zones. Most children, born on Mars like Zara, had never been to Earth. They grew up with the red planet as their only home. The school day passed quickly. Zara excelled in her science classes but also enjoyed history, especially learning about Earth and how humans had spread to Mars over the past 50 years. When the final bell rang, most students rushed toward home or recreation areas, but Zara headed in a different direction. She walked purposefully toward Section 7, her permission slip ready in her hand. The security checkpoint was usually staffed by Officer Ben or Officer Lily, both of whom knew most of the colony children by name. But today, an unfamiliar face greeted her at the checkpoint: Officer Paul Martinez. He had arrived on the transport ship from Earth just 2 weeks ago. His face looked stern with deep lines around his mouth that suggested he rarely smiled. "Where do you think you're going?" he asked sharply as Zara approached. "Hello, sir. I'm going to Section 7 for my science project. I have a permission slip," Zara said politely, holding out the document with her student ID attached. Officer Martinez barely glanced at it. "Section 7 is restricted, no children allowed. But sir, the school has special permission. My whole class is doing this project. The other students came earlier today." Zara tried again, staying calm and respectful. "Listen, kid. I know trouble when I see it. Why would you be going alone if this was really a school project?" His voice held an edge that made Zara uncomfortable. "I had math tutoring after school. Officer Ben knows about it. You can call my teacher, Mrs. Reeves, or my parents. They're both scientists here, Dr. Diana and Dr. Marcus Washington." Officer Martinez stepped closer, looking down at Zara with suspicion. "Right. And I'm the president of Earth. What's really in that backpack? Planning to take samples without permission? Maybe damage the research sites?" Zara felt her heart beat faster, but she stood her ground. "No, sir. I have proper collection containers and documentation forms, everything approved by the Education Board." "Empty your bag," he demanded. Zara carefully removed her science equipment, explaining each item. "This is my notebook. These are sterile collection vials. This is my digital microscope for preliminary observations. And here's my colony-issued tablet with the approved research guidelines." Several colonists walked past, slowing down as they noticed the interaction. Officer Martinez seemed not to care about the audience gathering. "How do I know you didn't steal this equipment?" he pressed. Zara's voice remained steady. "My name is on each piece, sir, and the tablet is locked to my biometrics." She pressed her thumb to the screen, and it lit up with her student profile and the official school assignment. A small drone hovered nearby, one of many that monitored the colony for safety and security. Its camera focused on the scene, recording everything. "That could be hacked," Officer Martinez said, growing more frustrated as he failed to find any wrongdoing. "You people always have an excuse." Zara tilted her head. You people? Troublemakers. I've dealt with plenty of kids like you back on Earth who think rules don't apply to them. A woman stepped forward from the small crowd that had gathered. Excuse me, officer. I'm Nicole Wong, the agricultural section supervisor. I know Zara. She's one of our brightest students and has every right to be here with that permission slip. Officer Martinez turned, his face flushing with anger. Stay out of this. Colony security is my jurisdiction. Then you should know our protocols, Ms. Wong replied calmly. Student research permits are valid all week. You can verify with Education Director Patel if you have concerns. Instead of checking, Officer Martinez grabbed Zara's arm. You're coming with me to the security station until we sort this out. That's unnecessary, Ms. Wong protested. Call her parents. I don't need advice on how to do my job. Martinez snapped, pulling Zara toward his vehicle. Zara didn't resist, knowing it would only make things worse. May I at least gather my equipment? She asked quietly. Leave it. Evidence, he replied curtly. Ms. Wong quickly collected Zara's belongings. I'll bring these to the station and call your parents, Zara, she called as Officer Martinez practically lifted Zara into the back of his security vehicle. As they drove away, Zara caught glimpses of colonists already using their communication devices. Word would spread fast in the tight-knit community. At the security station, Officer Martinez led Zara to a small room. Wait here, he ordered, leaving her alone. Outside the room, Lieutenant Olivia Grant was reviewing the incoming alerts on her screen. Multiple community members had filed reports about Martinez's behavior, and the drone footage was already uploaded to the system. As Martinez approached her desk, she stood up. Officer Martinez, what's going on? Why is Dr. Washington's daughter in detention? Caught her trying to enter Section 7 with collection equipment, probably planning to steal samples or damage research. Lieutenant Grant's eyebrows rose. Did you check her documentation? She had some permission slip, but what, officer? Lieutenant Grant pulled up the drone footage on her screen. Because it looks like she presented proper credentials that you ignored. Martinez's face hardened. With respect, Lieutenant, where I come from, kids don't wander into restricted areas without ulterior motives. You're not where you come from anymore, Officer Martinez. You're on Mars in New Horizon Colony where we verify facts before detaining 12-year-old honor students. She turned toward the room where Zara waited. Now, I believe we have a situation to correct. Lieutenant Olivia Grant led Officer Martinez away from his desk. Let me handle this from here, she said in a firm voice that left no room for argument. Martinez frowned. Lieutenant, with all due respect, that girl was in a restricted area. With a permission slip that you didn't bother to verify, Lieutenant Grant replied. She pulled up the drone footage on her tablet and turned it so Martinez could see. The colony AI system flagged this interaction immediately. Do you know why? Martinez shifted uncomfortably. The system here is too sensitive. The system works exactly as designed. It protects our citizens, all our citizens, from misjudgment. Lieutenant Grant's eyes narrowed. Wait here. Review your handbook on colony protocols while I speak with Zara. Lieutenant Grant entered the small room where Zara sat quietly. The girl's posture was straight, her hands folded neatly on the table. She showed no signs of fear, only patience. Hello, Zara. I'm Lieutenant Grant. She sat down across from the girl. I apologize for this situation. Ms. Wong has dropped off your equipment and contacted your parents. They're on their way. Thank you, Lieutenant, Zara said. May I still complete my science assignment today? The crystal formations are best observed in the afternoon light. Lieutenant Grant couldn't help but smile. Most children would be upset or worried. Zara was concerned about her schoolwork. Let's talk about what happened first. Can you tell me in your own words? Zara explained clearly how she'd gone to Section 7 for her school assignment after math tutoring. She described showing her permission slip to Officer Martinez and his refusal to accept it. He seemed angry from the start, Zara said, like he'd already decided I was doing something wrong before I even spoke. Did he say anything that bothered you specifically? Lieutenant Grant asked. He said you people when referring to me. I'm not sure what people he meant. Zara's voice remained even, but her eyes showed she understood more than she let on. Lieutenant, Grant nodded slowly. I see. She pulled up Zara's student file on her tablet. I want to know more about this science project that's so important to you. Zara's eyes lit up. She explained how the crystal formations in Section 7 might hold the key to more efficient water filtration. Her class was studying their structure, and she had specific ideas about how the geometric patterns might be replicated in man-made filters. As Zara spoke, Lieutenant Grant watched her with growing admiration. This girl wasn't just repeating a lesson. She understood the science and had her own theories. A knock at the door interrupted them. Dr. Diana Washington entered, her face tight with concern. Mom? Zara stood up. Dr. Washington hugged her daughter tightly before turning to Lieutenant Grant. I want to know exactly what happened. I was just getting the full story from Zara, Lieutenant Grant said. Please join us. Dr. Washington sat next to her daughter. The colony network is buzzing about this. Nicole Wong called us immediately. As she should have, Lieutenant Grant agreed. Officer Martinez is new from Earth. He made a serious error in judgment today. That's putting it mildly, Dr. Washington said. My daughter had proper authorization to be in Section 7. Lieutenant Grant nodded. Yes, and the drone footage confirms she conducted herself with complete propriety, while Officer Martinez did not follow colony protocols. Zara looked between the adults. I'm not in trouble, am I? Not at all, Lieutenant Grant assured her. In fact, I'd like to hear more about your theory on the crystal formations. It sounds fascinating. Dr. Washington raised an eyebrow. Is this relevant to what happened? Very much so, Lieutenant Grant said. I'm building a complete picture of the situation. Over the next 15 minutes, Zara explained her research ideas in detail. She pulled up diagrams on her tablet and showed how the natural formations could inspire new technology. Lieutenant Grant listened carefully. When Zara finished, she stood up. Thank you, Zara. You've been incredibly helpful. Wait here with your mother for a moment, please. She stepped outside where Officer Martinez was waiting, his face still set in stubborn lines. Well? He asked. Did you get her confession? Confession? Lieutenant Grant's voice was ice cold. That girl is Zara Washington. Her parents are Dr. Diana and Dr. Marcus Washington, leading scientists in our agricultural division. Zara herself has already contributed to research that helps feed this colony. And you detained her because… Martinez blinked. She was in a restricted area, with full permission that you refused to verify. Why didn't you call her teacher or check the school database? Martinez had no good answer. I've reviewed your transfer records more carefully, Lieutenant Grant continued. There were incidents on Earth that were overlooked, but we don't overlook anything here. Every interaction is recorded and analyzed by our systems. She pulled up a file on her tablet. Your previous department had 3 complaints of bias against young people of color, all buried by your supervising officer. That doesn't happen here. Martinez's face flushed. That's not fair. You can't judge me based on… I'm judging you based on your actions today, which our systems have fully documented. Lieutenant Grant's voice was firm. Mars isn't Earth, Officer Martinez. Our survival depends on fairness, truth, and respect for each person's contribution. Zara Washington may develop the technology that saves our water supply someday. In the laboratory room, Dr. Washington was examining Zara's collection equipment to make sure nothing was damaged. Mom, I'm okay. Really, Zara assured her. I just want to finish my assignment. Dr. Washington smiled at her daughter's determination. That's my girl, always focused on what matters. The door opened and Lieutenant Grant returned with Officer Martinez behind her. His face was now uncomfortable rather than angry. Zara, Dr. Washington, Lieutenant Grant said. Officer Martinez has something to say. Martinez stepped forward. He looked at Zara, then quickly away. I apologize for the misunderstanding today. I should have verified your permission slip properly. Zara nodded. Thank you, officer. Is that all? Dr. Washington asked, her voice cool. Martinez seemed to struggle with himself before adding, I made assumptions I shouldn't have. It won't happen again. Lieutenant Grant turned to Zara. I've arranged for Officer Liu to escort you to Section 7 to complete your assignment today. She'll be here in 5 minutes. Zara's face brightened. Thank you, Lieutenant. As they waited for Officer Liu, Dr. Marcus Washington arrived, having left his work when he heard what happened. The colony's education director, Amir Patel, also came to the security station. This incident is unacceptable, Director Patel said after hearing the details. Our students' scientific curiosity should be encouraged, not punished. We're addressing it, Lieutenant Grant assured him. Officer Martinez will undergo additional training on colony protocols and cultural integration. When Officer Liu arrived, she greeted Zara warmly. Ready for some crystal hunting? I hear your theory about water filtration is quite innovative. As Zara gathered her equipment, Lieutenant Grant watched Officer Martinez observing the scene. The respect everyone showed the young girl, the interest in her ideas, the community that had rallied around her so quickly. She saw something shift in his expression, a first small crack in the wall of assumptions he'd brought from Earth. It wasn't enough, but it was a start. Your retraining begins tomorrow, officer, Lieutenant Grant told him quietly. I suggest you spend tonight thinking about what kind of officer you want to be on Mars. The next morning, Officer Paul Martinez arrived early at the security station. He had not slept well. The faces of Zara Washington and her parents kept appearing in his mind. Lieutenant Grant was already at her desk reviewing reports when he walked in. Good morning, Officer Martinez. Ready for your first day of retraining? She asked without looking up. Yes, Lieutenant, he replied stiffly. Good. You'll be working with Officer Liu today. She's our community relations specialist. Lieutenant Grant finally looked at him. But first, there's a meeting you need to attend. She led him to the conference room where Colony Governor Sam Rodriguez waited along with 3 other people. Dr. Marcus Washington, Dr. Diana Washington, and between them, Zara. Martinez felt his stomach tighten. He had not expected to face the family again so soon. Officer Martinez, Governor Rodriguez said, please take a seat. Martinez sat across from the Washington family. Zara looked at him calmly, her school tablet in front of her. I've reviewed the incident from yesterday, the governor said. Normally I don't get involved in security matters, but this situation raises important questions about our community values. Dr. Marcus Washington spoke next. My daughter returned to Section 7 yesterday and completed her assignment. Here are her findings. He slid a tablet across the table. Martinez looked down at the screen. It showed detailed images of the crystal formations along with Zara's notes and drawings. The work was impressive, more like a college student's research than a 12-year-old's homework. I don't understand, Martinez said. Why are you showing me this? Because you need to understand what you almost prevented yesterday, Doctor, Diana Washington said. Zara, please explain your discovery. Zara tapped her tablet and a holographic image appeared above the table, a 3-dimensional model of the crystal structure. The formations in Section 7 have a unique pattern, she explained in a clear, confident voice. When I compared them to our current water filters, I noticed something important. She rotated the image with her finger. See these channels? They're 30% more efficient at capturing impurities while using less energy. Governor Rodriguez nodded. Zara's observation could help us reduce power use in our water system by a significant amount. That means more energy for other colony needs. Martinez looked at the girl with new eyes. You discovered this yesterday? After everything that happened? Science doesn't wait for feelings, Zara said simply. I was upset, but the work was still important. Lieutenant Grant leaned forward. Officer Martinez, do you understand now why our protocols exist? Why we verify before taking action? Every person in this colony contributes regardless of age. Martinez nodded slowly. I see that now. But, he hesitated. Where I worked on Earth, children in restricted areas usually meant trouble. This isn't Earth, Dr. Marcus Washington said firmly. The sooner you understand that, the better officer you'll be here. That's why we're not recommending your dismissal, Governor Rodriguez added. Mars needs people who can learn and adapt. The question is, can you?" Martinez looked around the table at their faces. No one appeared angry, just determined. Even Zara seemed more curious about his answer than upset by yesterday's events. "I want to try," he said finally. "I realize I brought assumptions with me that don't fit here." "Good," Lieutenant Grant said. "That's why your retraining will include working with our youth science program. 3 afternoons a week, you'll assist the students with their field research." Martinez blinked in surprise. "You want me to work with the children?" "Under supervision," Dr. Diana Washington clarified. "We believe in rehabilitation over punishment." "Show us you can learn, Officer Martinez." Zara spoke up. "Will he be helping with our crystal project too, if that's acceptable to you?" Governor Rodriguez said gently. Zara considered this for a moment, studying Martinez's face. "Yes, everyone deserves a chance to learn." The simple wisdom in her words made Martinez look down in shame. After the meeting, Officer Liu took Martinez to the colony's education center. 20 children around Zara's age were preparing for a field trip to another research area. "Class, this is Officer Martinez," Liu announced. "He'll be assisting us with security during our field studies from now on." The children looked at him with open curiosity. News traveled fast in the colony, and they had surely heard about yesterday's incident. A boy raised his hand. "Are you the officer who thought Zara was a criminal?" Martinez felt his face grow hot. "I made a mistake," he admitted. "I'm here to learn how things work on Mars." "That's what science is about," the boy replied seriously. "Making mistakes and learning from them." Officer Liu smiled. "Exactly, Jamal. Now, everyone get your equipment. We leave in 10 minutes. As the children gathered their tools, Martinez helped pass out safety gear. He noticed how organized they were, how focused on their tasks. Nothing like the rowdy, disrespectful kids he often encountered in his old neighborhood on Earth. "Different, isn't it?" Officer Liu said quietly, noticing his surprise. "Very," Martinez agreed. "On Earth, in my district, we didn't expect much from kids in certain neighborhoods." "And they lived down to those expectations?" Liu suggested. Martinez nodded uncomfortably. "Here we expect excellence from everyone, and we usually get it." Liu handed him a tablet. "This shows the research permits for today. Your job is to help keep the children safe while they work, not to police them." The field trip was eye-opening for Martinez. He watched in amazement as these young colonists conducted serious scientific work. They took samples, recorded data, and discussed their findings using terms he barely understood. When they returned to the education center, Zara was waiting. She had been working on a special project with her teacher and missed the field trip. "How was Section 10?" she asked a friend. "We found those soil bacteria you predicted," the girl replied excitedly. "Your theory was right." Martinez overheard this exchange and approached Zara cautiously. "You made another discovery?" "Just a hypothesis that needed testing," Zara said. "Mars soil has different bacteria than Earth. Some of them help plants grow better in our greenhouse conditions." Martinez nodded. "I'm starting to understand why everyone here was so upset with me yesterday." "It wasn't just about me," Zara said wisely. "It was about what I represent." "And what's that?" Martinez asked. "The future," she replied simply. "Everyone here works for Mars's future, even the kids." As Martinez walked back to his quarters that evening, he thought about Zara's words. On Earth, he had seen his job as controlling problems, catching troublemakers. Here on Mars, the security force existed to protect progress and possibility. For the first time since arriving on the Red Planet, Officer Paul Martinez really looked at the colony around him, not as a reflection of the troubled neighborhoods he'd left behind, but as something new and hopeful that he was now part of. 2 weeks passed quickly as Officer Martinez continued his retraining program. Each day brought new insights about Mars colony life. He spent his mornings with Lieutenant Grant, reviewing security protocols and learning the colony's approach to community safety. His afternoons were dedicated to helping with the youth science program, where he watched Zara and her classmates conduct their research projects. Today, Martinez stood in Section 7, supervising a group of students as they carefully collected crystal samples. Zara moved confidently among the formations, her collection tools handled with expert precision. "Officer Martinez, could you help over here?" she called, pointing to a particularly large crystal cluster. "What do you need?" he asked, approaching carefully to avoid disturbing the delicate formations. "Hold this light at exactly this angle," she instructed, handing him a special lamp. "I need to see the internal structure." Martinez did as she asked, holding the light steady while Zara used a small device to scan the crystal. Other students worked nearby, equally focused on their tasks. "You kids never take breaks, do you?" Martinez commented, genuinely impressed by their dedication. Zara looked up from her work. "This isn't just schoolwork to us. These crystals could solve our water filtration problems. That matters to everyone here." Martinez nodded. Over the past 2 weeks, he'd learned how every aspect of colony life was connected. Water, air, food, all resources were precious and limited. The work these children did wasn't busy work or simple learning exercises. It had real applications for colony survival. "In my old neighborhood on Earth," Martinez said, "kids your age rarely got to do anything important. Adults didn't trust them." "That sounds sad," Zara replied. "Here, everyone contributes. Everyone matters." When they returned to the education center, Dr. Diana Washington was waiting to speak with her daughter. Martinez noticed how she still regarded him with caution, though less openly hostile than before. "Zara, the engineering team wants to discuss your filtration design," Dr. Washington said. "They've built a prototype based on your crystal observations." Zara's eyes widened with excitement. "Already? Can I go now?" "That's why I'm here." Dr. Washington glanced at Martinez. "Officer, would you like to join us? It might be educational for your retraining." Martinez was surprised by the invitation. "Are you sure? I wouldn't want to intrude." "Consider it part of your rehabilitation," Dr. Washington replied. "Seeing the full impact of what you almost prevented might be valuable." Her words were direct but not unkind. Martinez appreciated the honesty. "I'd like that, thank you." They walked to the engineering lab where 3 technicians were running tests on a small device. The lead engineer, Rosa Diaz, greeted them. "Zara. Perfect timing. We've just finished the first test run of your design." Engineer Diaz motioned to the device. "Want to see the results?" Zara hurried forward, her face bright with anticipation. Martinez watched as Engineer Diaz displayed the test data on a large screen. "Your crystal-inspired filter design improved efficiency by 27%, Engineer Diaz explained. "That means we can process the same amount of water using less energy, or more water with the same energy." For a colony always concerned about resources, this was significant, Martinez realized. "What about the mineral preservation?" Zara asked. "Did it maintain the healthy mineral content?" Engineer Diaz smiled. "Even better than our current filters. The natural minerals that our bodies need stay in the water, while contaminants are removed more effectively." Dr. Washington placed a proud hand on her daughter's shoulder. This could be implemented colony-wide within months, not years. Martinez watched the scene with new understanding. On Earth, a 12-year-old's science project would never be taken so seriously by professional engineers. Here, age didn't matter, only ideas and contributions. "I owe you another apology," Martinez said quietly to Zara as the engineers continued their discussion. "I didn't just question your permission to be in Section 7. I questioned your right to be doing important work at all." Zara considered his words thoughtfully. "On Earth, do people often judge others before knowing what they can do?" Martinez felt the simple question hit him like a stone. "Too often," he admitted. "Including me." Later that day, Martinez met with Lieutenant Grant for his progress review. They sat in her office as she reviewed his file on her tablet. "You've made considerable improvement, Officer Martinez," she noted. "The teachers report that you've been helpful and respectful with the students. They're easy to respect once you see what they can do." Martinez replied honestly. Lieutenant Grant set down her tablet. "Tell me what you've learned these past 2 weeks." Martinez thought carefully before answering. "On Earth in my district, We were taught to look for trouble, to assume the worst of people in certain neighborhoods, certain groups. We called it being street smart or experienced. He paused. Now I see it was just bias. I brought those biases with me to Mars. And now? Lieutenant Grant prompted. Now I understand why the colony has such strict verification protocols. Why we never act on assumptions alone. Everyone here depends on each other too much to waste potential or misjudge someone's worth. Lieutenant Grant nodded, satisfied with his answer. Your official retraining ends next week, but Governor Rodriguez has a proposal for you. What kind of proposal? He wants you to help develop a new training program for Earth transfers. Too many people arrive with the same biases you had. Who better to help them adjust than someone who's gone through it himself? Martinez was surprised. You're offering me more responsibility after what I did? We believe in second chances here, Lieutenant Grant replied. More importantly, we believe in using everyone's potential. Your experience on both Earth and Mars could be valuable if you've truly learned from it. The next day, Martinez returned to the youth science program. The students were preparing presentations on their research findings for the upcoming Colony Science Fair. Zara was working with a team on their crystal filtration display. Officer Martinez, she called when she saw him. We need someone to test our presentation. Could you pretend to be a visitor who doesn't know anything about our project? I don't think I'll need to pretend much. Martinez smiled. Most of your science still goes over my head. As he listened to their presentation, Martinez found himself genuinely impressed by how clearly these young colonists explained complex concepts. They spoke with confidence and knowledge beyond their years. When they finished, Zara looked at him expectantly. Well, did we explain it so anyone could understand? Martinez nodded. Perfectly clear. You should be proud of this work. We are, Zara said, looking at her teammates. But it's not just our work. It's for everyone. In that moment, Officer Paul, Martinez truly understood the difference between Earth and Mars. On Earth, success often meant rising above others. On Mars, success meant lifting everyone together. 3 months later, Officer Paul Martinez stood in the main dome of New Horizon Colony, watching as hundreds of people gathered for the Science Achievement Ceremony. The large space had been transformed with displays showing the various scientific projects that had improved colony life over the past year. In the center of it all was Zara Washington's crystal filtration system, now expanded into a full-sized working model. Engineers and scientists crowded around it, examining the design with admiration. The new system had been installed in 2 of the colony's residential sections already, with plans to expand to the entire settlement within 6 months. Quite a change from your first week here, isn't it? Lieutenant Grant said, walking up beside Martinez. Hard to believe that was only 3 months ago, he replied. I was a different person then. Lieutenant Grant nodded. We all change when we need to. That's how humans survive in new places. She looked toward the entrance. Your new trainees are here. Martinez turned to see 6 security officers entering the dome, all recent arrivals from Earth. As part of his new role, Martinez was responsible for their cultural integration training. These officers, like him, had come from Earth with their own set of experiences and biases. His job was to help them adapt to Mars society more quickly than he had. Officer Martinez, one of them called out, a woman named Officer Riley. Is this the science fair you told us about, where kids do actual colony work? Not just a science fair, Martinez corrected. These are real achievements being recognized. Many of these projects are already changing how we live here. He led his group toward the central display where Governor Rodriguez was preparing to speak. The crowd quieted as the governor took his place on a small platform. Welcome, everyone, to our quarterly science achievement ceremony, Governor Rodriguez began. Today we recognize those whose work has improved life in New Horizon Colony. Our survival on Mars depends on innovation, and innovation depends on all of us. He gestured to the displays around the room. Every project you see today represents hours of work, brilliant thinking, and dedication to our community. But before we present all our achievements, I want to highlight one special project that exemplifies what makes Mars colonies different from Earth societies. Governor Rodriguez motioned toward Zara, who stood with her parents near the crystal filtration display. Zara Washington, please join me. Martinez watched as Zara walked confidently to stand beside the governor. Her parents followed, their faces showing pride. 3 months ago, Zara observed something in our crystal formations that all our adult engineers had missed, Governor Rodriguez explained to the crowd. Her insight led to a completely new water filtration system that reduces energy usage by nearly 30% while improving water quality. The crowd applauded enthusiastically. Zara smiled, appearing both proud and slightly embarrassed by the attention. But this story is about more than a scientific breakthrough, the governor continued. It's about our colony values. When Zara first tried to visit the crystal formations for her research, she encountered resistance from someone who couldn't see beyond his Earth-based assumptions. Martinez felt all eyes turned toward him. He stood straight, accepting the reference without shame. It was part of his story now, part of his growth. That moment could have ended in lost potential. Both Zara's scientific contribution and the growth of a valuable colony officer, Governor Rodriguez said. Instead, it became a lesson for all of us. He motioned for Martinez to join them on the platform. Martinez walked forward, surprised by the invitation. Officer Paul Martinez arrived from Earth carrying old biases, the governor told the crowd. But unlike many, he was willing to learn and change. Today, he leads our cultural integration program for Earth transfers, ensuring that new arrivals understand our colony values quickly. The governor turned to face Martinez and Zara standing side by side. Would you both share what you've learned from this experience? Zara spoke first, her voice clear and thoughtful. I learned that sometimes being right isn't enough. We have to help others see a different way of thinking. Mars needs everyone's ideas to survive, so we can't afford to ignore anyone's potential. Martinez took a deep breath before speaking. I learned that the assumptions we bring from Earth can blind us to what's right in front of us. On Earth, I was trained to look for threats and problems. Here on Mars, we need to look for potential and possibility. He glanced at Zara. Sometimes the youngest among us have the clearest vision. The crowd applauded again. Governor Rodriguez smiled and addressed everyone once more. This is why Mars colonies succeed where other settlements fail. We adapt, we learn, and we value each contribution regardless of who makes it. After the ceremony, Martinez introduced his trainees to Zara and her parents. The new officers seemed impressed to meet the young scientist they'd just heard about. Your filtration system is really going to be used colony-wide? Officer Riley asked Zara. It already is in sections 3 and 4, Zara explained. The engineers made some improvements to my original design, but the basic concept is the same. On Earth, adults would have taken credit for your idea, another new officer commented. Dr. Marcus Washington shook his head. That doesn't happen here. Attribution is always accurate. It's part of our scientific integrity. As the conversation continued, Martinez noticed how differently his trainees spoke to Zara compared to how he had 3 months ago. They asked her real questions about her work, showing genuine interest rather than dismissal. Later, as the event was ending, Martinez found himself standing alone with Zara near her display. I'm leaving the youth science program next week. He told her. My new duties with the training program will take all my time. Will you miss working with us? Zara asked. Martinez nodded. More than I ever thought possible. You kids taught me more than any training manual could. Maybe you can still visit sometimes, Zara suggested. We're starting a new project on soil bacteria next month. I'd like that, Martinez said. He hesitated, then added, Thank you, Zara. For what? For not giving up on me. For showing me what Mars is really about. Zara smiled. That's what we do here. We don't waste potential, even when it's hidden under Earth thinking. As they walked together toward her parents, Martinez reflected on his journey. He had arrived on Mars carrying the weight of Earth's problems and prejudices. Now he felt lighter, clearer, more hopeful. The next transport from Earth would arrive in 2 weeks, bringing more people with their own Earth biases and assumptions. Martinez was ready for them. He would share his story honestly, how a 12-year-old girl's innocence had shocked him into seeing his own prejudice, and how Mars' justice had hit him fast but fair, transforming rather than punishing. On Mars, justice wasn't about penalties, it was about potential, and everyone had the right to discover theirs.